So you jump in the shower, you're expecting that nice hot water, and instead you get a blast of ice-cold water. Ugh. Or, maybe you hear that weird gurgling sound coming from the basement in the middle of the night. We have all been there. And those are the moments, right? The moments we're suddenly reminded that our homes aren't just walls and a roof. They are these incredibly complex machines that we live inside of, usually without giving a single thought to what actually keeps them running. It's a pretty wild question when you stop and think about it, isn't it? Because behind all that drywall and underneath your floorboards, there are entire networks, systems that are working 24/7 to keep you comfortable, safe, and, well, modern. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain and explore that hidden world. All right, so here's the plan. We're going to start with the big picture, what these hidden systems are all about. Then, we're going to follow the water, from where it comes in to where it goes out. After that, we'll take a deep breath and dive into air quality. And finally, we'll get into the important stuff, what happens and what you can do when things go wrong. The best way to really wrap your head around your home is to think of it like a living body. Seriously. It's got a circulatory system that moves water all around, and it's got a respiratory system that manages the air you breathe. When both of those systems are healthy, everything just works. So let's start with that circulatory system. Water is literally the lifeblood of your home. It travels through this super complex network of pipes to get to every single faucet, every fixture, and every appliance you use, day in and day out. I mean, we see these things every day, right? The kitchen faucet, the shower head, the little spigot outside for the garden hose. They're so common, we just forget they're just the tip of the iceberg. Each one is basically a little gateway to this hidden network of pipes snaking through your entire house. And, of course, a potential point of failure if something goes wrong deeper in the system. And if the pipes are the veins and arteries, then the water heater is definitely the heart, pumping all that hot water throughout your home. Now, you've got a few main types. You've got your standard tank. Think brands like Bradford White, which is just a workhorse, great for families that need a lot of hot water at once. Then you have tankless heaters from Navien or Bosch. These are super efficient. They save energy by heating water instantly, exactly when you need it. And then there's the really clever stuff, like heat pump models that actually pull warmth from the surrounding air to heat your water. Okay, let's talk about one of the true unsung heroes of the entire water system, the sump pump. This little device is basically your home's personal bodyguard against flooding. It just sits there quietly in a little pit in your basement, waiting for the one job it was designed to do. And the way it works is just brilliantly simple. So when heavy rain or groundwater starts to rise, water flows into that pit. A little float rises up with the water, it trips a switch, and bam, the pump kicks on, shooting all that water safely away from your house. It is an amazing automated first line of defense, and brands like Zoller are masters at this stuff. All right, we've covered the circulatory system. Now let's talk about the respiratory system. It is so easy to take the air in our homes for granted, but your HVAC system is constantly working. It is the lungs of your house. And what it does has a massive impact on your comfort and, even your health. Okay, so at its core, you have two big players, the furnace for heat and the air conditioner for cooling. Pretty simple. But here's the thing. Just managing the temperature is now just the starting point. The real innovation, the really cool stuff, is in managing the quality of the air. And this is where it gets really interesting. It's not just about hot or cold anymore. It's about making the air you breathe healthier. You know that super dry, scratchy feeling in the winter? Humidifiers, like ones from April Air, they fix that. That sticky, damp feeling in the summer? Dehumidifiers pull that right out of the air. Some systems even use UV lights to zap germs and viruses, giving you genuinely clean air to breathe. So how do we control all this? Well, that old boring beige box on the wall has had a serious upgrade. Smart thermostats from companies like Nest, Ecobee, and Honeywell don't just set a temperature. Oh no. They learn your habits, they adjust themselves to save you money, and they let you control your entire home's climate from an app on your phone. It's basically become the brain of the whole respiratory system. Okay, so we've seen how these systems work when everything is going great. But what happens when they don't? This is where understanding how your home's inner workings really becomes critical. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. A system failure isn't just a little inconvenience. It can be a sudden, super stressful event that can threaten your whole home. It's never planned, and it is always a massive disruption. Yeah, and that's the thing about major emergencies, right? They don't happen on a neat 9-to-5 schedule. A burst pipe or a gas leak, that requires an immediate, around-the-clock response. The stakes are just way too high to wait. So, what do these emergencies actually look like? Well, we're talking about a catastrophic failure, like a burst pipe flooding your basement, or a really dangerous problem, like a gas leak. These aren't just little problems. These are the nightmare scenarios that every single homeowner wants to avoid. Which, of course, leads us to the most important question of all. We can't just react to these things. We have to be proactive. How do you get ahead of these problems before they turn into absolute disasters? And this is where technology gives us an incredible edge. Think of these as your home's brand new smart defense system. A Mow and Flow monitor can actually detect a tiny leak and shut off your water main automatically. A Zoller flood alarm will blast an alert to your phone the second it senses rising water. An AirThings wave detector is constantly monitoring for dangerous radon gas. These things, they turn you from a potential victim into a prepared guardian of your home. And really, at the end of the day, that is the key takeaway. Understanding the machine you live inside isn't just interesting trivia. When you know how its circulatory and respiratory systems work, you transform from just being a passive resident into an empowered caretaker, ready to keep your home healthy and safe. So the next time you hear a strange noise, or maybe the water pressure feels a little bit off, don't just ignore it. Your home is a machine and it's constantly communicating with you. The real question is, are you listening?